My idea of the perfect date in my hometown, Buenos Aires, includes a couple of glasses of wine, then walking down the street with no particular direction, making out in public with a little bit of a wine breath, and then wonder what's next. So when I moved to Chicago and learned that the average glass of wine is about $9, my heart sank. I love wine, but I also have very strong feelings for food and shelter. And so I stopped drinking altogether, and I was doing great until I went on a date. We planned to meet on a Tuesday because he was volunteering at a bike shop, and we had to finish early because I had stuff the day after. And so it was not a very romantic setup, and that showed in our outfits. He was wearing a white t-shirt, denim shorts and sneakers, and I had a sundress and no makeup on, partly because it was a casual date, but also because it was Chicago summer and it would have melted down in the middle of the red line. And so I also remembered that people don't kiss on the cheek when they greet here, so I walk into this bar in Rogers Park, I say hi, and I sit down. I'm sure that this bar probably had a great wine selection, but I don't bother to look at the menu because I know all I can afford is soda. So that's why I order, not him. He ordered a peach and pineapple cocktail. And the server was very smart because he asked separate checks, which is way more polite than saying, this is a waste of time, he's dirty, you're broke, this isn't going anywhere. But after I order my soda, my date asks me, do you not drink? And I might be poor, but I'm not a liar. So I say, no, I don't. The conversation is going pretty well, and I can tell because I actually bring up the femicide rate in the US. I know it doesn't sound like date talk, but the way my brain works is like, women are disproportionately murdered by men. You're a man, I like you, you won't murder me, will you? I'm flirting, okay? I'm flirting. And so the conversation is going well. I'm thinking there was no wine, but there's a chance of the walk and maybe the kiss and maybe the after plans. And so after we drink, he walks me to the train, which is only like 12 steps away. Bummer. But there's still the chance of maybe a kiss. He says he would like to see me again. I say I would like to see him again, promising. And then he says, I just would like you to know that I don't kiss on the first date. And I'm shattered. This is a death sentence and not the kind I had anticipated. And I go home knowing that this was the first and the last date. So I was very surprised when a couple of days later, he reaches out for a second date. I'm confused. This is not going the way I expected, but I'm interested enough to give this a chance. So I tell him to go to the beach. And we go to the beach and we swim and we sunbathe and we're talking and suddenly he kissed me. I mean, it's not Argentinian kissing. The way we Argentinians kiss is we play a UFC match with our tongues. And I can only describe what he gave me as a pigeon eating old bread out of the ground. But he legally kissed me, okay? And I liked him, and I was excited, and this felt romantic, and I wish I had like a glass of very cold white wine and fruit, and instead I have a very small bottle of Diet Coke that I poured from a larger bottle of Diet Coke. And we keep talking, and he says that for our next day we should go thrift shopping. And I think he's onto something. So I decide to come clean, and I tell him that I do in fact drink, I just can't afford it right now. I don't need to tell you, he knew all along. And instead of making me feel embarrassed, I felt very understood and supported, so much so that I bring out 2 sandwiches that I had in my backpack. So I asked him, in the spirit of honesty, why he hadn't kissed me on the first date. And he tells me he'd been on a couple of dates where he had said, I like you a lot, would like to see you again. They say they do too. And he leans for a kiss, they kiss. And then he texts them again, and they say, I would rather be friends. And he is uncomfortable with the possibility of someone maybe feeling that they had to kiss him. And he doesn't want to kiss anyone unless they want to kiss him just as much. And I liked him before, but this consent talk is doing it for me. So I tell him that we should definitely go thrifting someday, but we gotta go home because I have some UFC moves that I really gotta show him. And I don't kiss him at the beach because I know that my idea of kissing could be charged with battery. We're married now. And I can afford a glass of wine here and there, but honestly, I don't crave it anymore because just like he said about kissing, wine for me was less about the drink and it was more about doing something I like with someone who wants to do it just as much as I do.